When Alan Border retired from international cricket this year, it left a potentially dangerous void in the Australian batting lineup. There appears to be no shortage, however, of young pretenders desperate to play at the highest level, and Cover Point talks to Michael Bevan, whose successful tour of Pakistan suggests he may become a great Test player, and to Ricky Ponting, the latest prodigy to be tagged as the new Don Bradman.
I guess when I got picked for the Pakistan tour, anything could have happened. It was between Justin and myself, and you know, I was lucky enough to get the nod. And from there, it's been a pretty good run, so I'm pretty happy.
My dad played a lot of cricket, and my uncle was Greg Campbell. He played a few tests and that. So I reckon I was just brought up with cricket all my junior life, and I was just to go and follow it. Just to work at the Shield games and all that up in Launceston. So I've just been brought up with cricket. And I had a couple of years at the Cricket Academy, which really helped me and got me started into first-class cricket.
But Michael Bevan, a rare product of Canberra, didn't have such strong influences at home.
They've been very supportive, and I thank them for that. But, basically it's been myself and just learning off other people. I had a coach, but that was basically a bowling coach, but he's been still an influence. And, I think that's more to the point. Influence is just helping you along, and you're gonna learn your technique or your batting through the Test players or Shield players and the guys that are above you. So basically that's how it's been.
What the two players do have in common, other than exceptional talent of course, is the Australian Institute of Sport Cricket Academy, where both spent valuable time honing their skills.
I think it's very important. I mean, the year that I went in, it didn't teach me a hell of a lot of new things. It just refined a lot of areas and a lot of little things. But what it did do is it brought 15 guys together that all wanted to do as good as possible or as well as possible. And that was enough incentive or competitiveness for 15 guys there to for the guys to want to do well against each other and be the best there. So that was what it was all about.
You just got to look at the numbers coming through there now that are actually going on and playing Test cricket. I mean, it's not just first-class cricket anymore. A lot of the guys they've been through the academy going on and playing Test cricket. So, I mean, I think I probably had the best of the years there with Rod Marsh, and what he's done and what he's doing now is just fantastic. And I think anyone that gets the opportunity to go has just got to do it and make the most of it.
You must be extremely fit. You must be technically good. Not so much in the one-day game. You can be technically innovative, but in Test cricket certainly you've still got to be technically good, and you've got to have your mind going in the right direction. And basically that's my charter, I guess, here, to get them physically fit, to get them mentally fit, and to make sure their technique can withstand both Test cricket and one-day cricket.
Indeed, Marsh, who arrived at the academy after Bevan's spell there, was convinced in 1992 that Bevan had what it takes.
I mean, take a guy like Michael Bevan. How good is he? I've only seen him a couple of times, so I've got to be a little bit reserved in my judgment, but from what I've seen of him, he's certainly ready to play Test cricket. Will the Australian selectors pick him? I don't know. That's their problem. But certainly he is good enough to play Test cricket. I think in some ways it would be a tragedy if he were to wait for 4 or 5 years and then play Test cricket. Maybe some of that magic will have disappeared.
Clearly it's a concern of Marsh's that some players aren't being given the early opportunities they used to.
A lot of us were playing Shield cricket and playing Test cricket at the same age, so one wonders whether they were technically better, physically better, mentally better. I think probably one of the great tragedies of this life is the fact that we've all been put into boxes. Like if you're under 17, you only play under 17s. If you're under 19, you only play under 19s. There may be 2 or 3 kids in the under 19s good enough to play cricket for Australia now, but they don't get the opportunity because they're held back, and I find that quite disturbing.
Bevan announced himself on the scene with 100 on his first-class debut for South Australia while still at the academy, but he was soon moved to New South Wales, and it was an incredible run of 4 centuries in consecutive matches in 1991 that brought him into the spotlight for the first time.
Michael Bevan is the youngest New South Wales player and fast becoming the most exciting prospect in Australian cricket.
Coming back for 2, and Michael Bevan scores his 4th 100 of the season.
At only 20, he has all the shots and ample confidence to play them.
Classically through the covers.
A poor run of form in 1992 resulted in Bevan losing his place in the state side for one game, but he quickly bounced back with 3 centuries, including 170 against England A.
No one likes being dropped, and even though it was a while ago, I guess you can't be in good form all the time, but yeah, it certainly makes you aware and just makes you sit back and look and where you want to go and how you're playing your game, and it did that to me, so it was good.
A powerful striker and lightning runner, Bevan's performances in both one-day and four-day cricket became harder and harder to ignore. And when he forced himself into the side to play Pakistan, he didn't disappoint.
Bevan just waited for it, picked his spot. 4 easy runs.
Ponting's consistent high scores for Tasmania have propelled him into the Australia A side at the tender age of 19.
I've been pretty lucky. This year I've got off to a reasonable start in Shield cricket. I mean, the one-day form hasn't been that flash, but I mean, I think I've just got runs at the right time, basically.
I suppose, unfortunately, with international duties over the last 10 years, I sort of through grade cricket didn't see a lot of Ricky, but obviously once he hit the state side, I thought, you know, he showed immediate maturity and application to the game, and obviously over the last couple of years his performances have just improved and got better and better. I think he's a good all-round player. He's got a very steady head on his shoulders, and you know, a lot of the time I think he's learning to play within his limitations, and he's going on to build those big innings where he was getting out for 30s and 40s before. But you know, he works hard at his cricket and trains hard, does everything right. So hopefully, another member of the Australian side in not too distant future.
And that's a cracking shot from Ponting.